Hello again, traders, and welcome back to the Hot Stocks Outlook for March 24th, 2023. Hope y'all are having an excellent week out there in the financial markets, and as always, plenty to cover here in today's Outlook. And make sure if you haven't already that you go ahead and click on the link available in the description below, and you can actually get a live demonstration about how this specific technology can help you make better trading decisions day in and day out in the marketplace. So what we're going to do here today, we'll start out, we have shares of L3 Harris, Goldman Sachs, KeyCorp, Texas Instruments, Phillips 66, and we'll end on AMD. So a good mix of some energy, tech, financials here. But let's start out with L3 Harris. It's a really good example of how all of these tools work collectively to really offer traders that overall forecast of where prices are likely to move. So what we have here is daily price action. So each one of these candles that you're seeing represents a full and complete trading day in the marketplace. And right up against that price data, what you'll notice is there is a black line value and a blue line value there. So what that black line is actually it's a simple moving average. So this is a very common technical indicator. And in this case, what it does is it actually looks back at the previous 10 close prices. It'll add those all together and divide by 10. And what that does is it smooths out the existing price action for the trader and lets the trader know, well, where have market prices been over a given period of time? But obviously, traders need to be ahead of that next move in the market. And so what Vantagepoint users are able to do is actually compare that black lagging moving average or simple moving average to this blue line proprietary predicted moving average. And for this number to get plotted and calculated for the trader every evening, this is where that technology of artificial neural networks come into place, and they're performing what's called intermarket analysis on the target market in question. So what that means is there are known market drivers that influence and affect the future price of L3 Harris. Now, those can be obvious things like the broader S&P 500. That can be individual ETF groups that group together a big sector of the marketplace. That can be individual stocks that share subtle relationships, whether it be technology, communication stocks. That can be things like the dollar index or global interest rates, and all the way down to individual global commodities like the gold market or silver or oil prices. And what it's able to do is look at how all those other market relationships are affecting the future price of, in this case, L3 Harris, and it generates a highly accurate predictive forecast. So it's essentially generating predictive prices on where things are expected to go. And it's those predictions of prices that are actually used to construct these indicators. So rather than have rearward looking indicators that really get dragged around, what we have is a combination of forward looking predictive tools, whether that be with our predicted moving average that gives us the overall trend direction, or these other indicators that you see at the bottom of the screen, and also our predicted range that we looked at each week. So let's go ahead and look at the entirety of the forecast here, and we can see that once that blue line crosses below the black line, it's suggesting average prices are expected to go lower. But that's not the only problem that a trader may have, right? Is traders need to understand, well, where's their short-term strength or weakness coming into the market? Where are particular price levels that I may want to be aware of? Well, that's where this bottom indicator, at the very bottom of the chart, you see it can go from green to red, back to green. And this is updated every single trading day. And what it's doing is actually generating a highly accurate 48-hour forecast of short-term strength or weakness in the market. So what you'll notice is when that neural index gets bullish, you get a little higher highs, some sideways price action, but you can use those other tools to get that sense of, okay, well, what is the overall trend? Sure, we may be getting a little bit of strength here, but what should my overall position be? So to really round this out, we can actually look at those predicted highs and lows. So on top of that 48-hour forecast, you're provided a prediction for the high and low for the next trading day before it occurs. And so this is what we do each week as we come in and look at how accurate those predictions were against the actual market data. And you can see that if you identify an area where you potentially want to go ahead and set short positions, well, ideally you'd want to look up towards the predicted high and target levels like these predicted lows. And as long as that blue line remains below the black line, well, it's suggesting average prices are going to remain moving lower. And this is what allows traders to really understand, hey, where's the strength or weakness in the market? How can I create that hedged portfolio here? But here's L3 Harris off about 10% in just 12 trading days. So these are some serious moves happening, and you really want to be on the right side of this stuff. So let's go ahead and continue on. Let's look at Goldman, obviously a very important stock here. And we talked a lot about the very important shifts in the marketplace that traders need to be aware of, specifically in that financial space. But you can see that as the market's moving higher, well, blue line over black line, look at this neural index, indicating that, hey, there's strength over these subsequent 48-hour periods. The trend is up, but you'll notice that that neural index starts to go bearish. We get that shift to the downside, and now we can see again how accurate all of these predictions have been for several weeks now, right? This did not happen yesterday. This has been going on for a while. And if you're wondering, okay, well, should I be shorting financials? What should I be doing here? Well, it's been pretty clear as far as the software's output, even after a lot of this volatility comes in. You see how effective these levels are at helping the short-term trader or a trader potentially managing that longer-term position. But here we see a pretty aggressive decline here in shares of Goldman. We'll go ahead, we can take a look at KeyCorp just to sort of drive home that you can really see these important shifts when they happen, especially in a particular sector of the marketplace. And it makes it easier to position that portfolio. Maybe be short in some of the financials and even energy is showing some weakness, and potentially get long in some other areas. We looked at like Facebook last week. Here's KeyCorp, again, driving this home that there's a lot of weakness in these financials. And you see that how effective the short-term forecasts are, right? That neural index gets bullish, it's only indicating short-term strength over the next 48-hour period. But as long as that blue line remains below the black line, you see as all those forecasts get bearish, and watch out because momentum is certainly picking up in some of these areas of the marketplace. So once again, we've got shares of KeyCorp, obviously very similar to Goldman. Many of these financials having a real problem and opening up an opportunity to the downside, about a 42% decline in just the past 28 trading days. I mean, tiny position there has you up pretty good. Now, moving on, we've got Texas Instruments, and we highlighted things like Facebook and even like AMD, and we'll go ahead and look at that here. But we're seeing some strength in the tech space, but you got to be super, super careful here. And so we see over the past few weeks here in Texas Instruments, you get that blue line crossing above the black line, a lot of sideways price action here. But what I wanted to bring in was these predicted highs and lows. So when the trader has all of these levels ahead of time, it makes it pretty clear to understand what you might want to be doing in the market, what you need to be aware of as far as short-term price action, so you can get that position on and exploit that opportunity. So here, Texas Instruments, a little bit of a move, just really bringing this in to highlight that we have seen strength over the past few weeks in the tech space, but I do warn you that we're seeing a lot of warning signs broadly throughout the marketplace, and would make sense to be careful. Here's one of those warning signs, right? Energy actually doing very poorly here. I heard this crossover to the downside, neural index bullish, so you get this higher high over that next 48 hours. Here again, here are some higher highs, but do you want to be a buyer here? Well, I would argue no. We only want to look to be shorting up at these predicted highs, taking profits on shorts, and this can help you if you are trading energies or trading crude oil. I mean, it makes it very clear as, okay, well, how much strength is there across the board in that commodity, but also the individual shares. And with Phillips 66, this is also a good example of one of those intermarkets, things like oil and a lot of those energy sector ETFs and all that coming into play and helping produce a highly accurate forecast if traders want to participate in the oil space here. And lastly, we'll go ahead and look at AMD, and a very popular stock here, again, just coming back to tech, but seeing a extreme difference in what you're seeing on these charts. And you do see a lot of warning signs out there as a lot of these markets are in downtrend, and again, show that weakness here. But here in AMD, clearly you do not want to be short here. Crossover to the upside, little blip from the neural index, there's your short-term weakness. But overall, we see a ton of strength out of this forecast and a really nice move to the upside. So getting these levels pretty much every day that says, okay, well, if you want to be a buyer, look down at these prices and shoot for those upward price targets. So we can look at the overall move here before we go ahead and move forward, but about a 25% move in just 16 trading days. So some very extreme moves out there that have really opened up some great opportunities to put things into the portfolio. But like I said, we got to be very, very careful out there. There's certainly some warning signs, and it makes sense to have those hedges in the portfolio and some defensive posture in some particular areas of the marketplace. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. Once again, this has been our Hot Stocks Outlook for March 24th, 2023. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck, and bye for now.